Jaap and I said that we would put something together for you, and we decided that we would show you how you can go with the flow. Now, what you might think is, well, hang on, this is a PowerShell conference. What's flow got to do with PowerShell? But hey, PowerShell's all about automating things, and so's flow. So hopefully we can show you some cool things where maybe you're not going to use them every day, but you'll actually see how you can accomplish some cool stuff.
Yep. So, has anyone seen powershell.cool yet? It's been tweeted quite a lot. Everyone saw that? Okay, well, Rob did an amazing job there. I'm not nearly as amazing, but because this is a PowerShell conference and we wanted to do some stuff with Microsoft Flow, show you guys, I put something together. So we actually execute some PowerShell code on my system. Hopefully it will all work. And show that you can use Flow for local code execution as well. Let's go in it. So we all love PowerShell. That's why we're doing this. Here we go. So what I've done, I go to a small script that I run locally. Let's see. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to monitor our file system. We're going to set a simple file system watcher there. So if any file is created in C:sheep, then it will take an action. The action is a function I've loaded. It's called setSheep.
setSheep.
Of course not. And we're going to see how this works. So this script is running in the background. This is my beautiful desktop. I'll whip out my phone. I'm going to need a volunteer. Chrissy Lemaire, can you come to the front? So we have a button here. So Flow is also an app on your phone, so you can have it on Android, iPhone. Do it. Did you? So the idea behind this is with Microsoft Flow, what you can do, there's a whole lot of connectors in Microsoft Flow. So you can manage Microsoft Forms, you can have OneDrive, you can even make a connection to your server or, in this case, my laptop. So when you set up a connector in Microsoft Flow, you have to specify your credentials, you have to install some software on your system. It's called the Flow Gateway. And then you have a number of options you can take. And what I've done is I just create a file on my file system. The script I just showed you is looking at the file. I can specify a certain file name or a certain content. When that gets written to my system, I can execute any code. So you can use this as kind of a workaround way to remotely execute code from your phone, and you can do funky stuff with that. Rob, how are you doing with your side of things?
Yeah, no, keep talking, my friend.
Keep going?
Yeah, you're good. It appears that when you walk down the stairs, you lose your Wi-Fi connection.
Do you want me to turn on Wi-Fi?
No,
so you can use this for a variety of things, of course. I use it for sheep because I like sheep. And there's a bit of history to this because I used to work together with JD, and you all know him as the security guy, right? But he wasn't a very good security guy in every sense of the word. He never used to lock his workstation. So every time he went on a smoke break, there you go, own up to it, he would get this picture on his background. So now I've automated this. So from this point onwards, I could just set up a Flow connector and from my phone, even when he's not away from his computer, set a nice background picture. So I think Rob is about ready to take over from here. Rob?
Ready, steady, buddy.
Cool. Put it on top. You can easily switch back.
Yeah. Whoa. It's alive. Stay. Stay. Excellent. Oh no, we don't have...
The recording has stopped, but you keep talking. I'll do the tech stuff.
So, but when we were sorting out,
Okay.
Now it's working. Yeah. And on my,
Keep talking, Rob.
it's working, it's not working, it's working, it's not working. So, we were talking about setting up PowerShell conference, and we were talking about making use of the Twitter account. So all the tweets that you've seen have been buffered by yours truly. I use buffer.com just to schedule some tweets out so you get to know when stuff's happening, who all the speakers are, what sessions they're going to be talking about, all of that sort of thing. And I thought, you know what? I'm a data guy as well. Wouldn't it be cool if we could see how many tweets we get going? And this is what we end up with. So I hope everybody knows that what you can do with this is you can click. And the beauty of Power BI, any managers in the room? Managers in the room, hands up. Excellent. No managers listen to this bit on the video, okay? So what we can do is we can set up some Power BI and we can give them something like this, and when they click on Tobias, everything changes. Oh, look, Tobias thinks that everything's really good with PSConf.eu, so his sentiment's 0.78, but today it's only 0.01. He's had a bad day today. But all of this data, as we go through, we can click around, and maybe we want to see your own tweets. So if you want to see your own tweets, you can look on this page. You come down and you'll find somewhere down here, we'll find Jaap Brasser. So Jaap Brasser has done all of these tweets, and you can go through and you can see what they are, and then you can see that, you know.
Can we see my happiest tweet?
Your happiest tweet. So if we, in the last 30 days, we can order this. So your least happy tweet was, thanks. Was a retweet of one of mine. And your happiest tweet.
It doesn't seem to be sorting, Rob.
Thank you. 0.91. And we've got a lack of sorting on that power. Well, never mind. We can't do that. But what we can do on the front page for the last 30 days is see who's done the most number of tweets. Now, we've taken the PSConf.eu one out of this, and we got 157 from our glorious leader, Tobias. And if we look at our sentiments, we see that the most positive person, thank you. Yeah, I'm generally the most positive person. And there's all these names that you can see. So go and have a look, have a play, go and click. You type powershell.cool. We have all of the data. So this is just the last 30 days, it says so up at the top. If we go all the way through, we've got when the conference was happening, and then you have the whole all-time number of tweets since January the 20-something when I started creating it. So like, okay, that's cool. But how did we create this? So here is the beauty of having too many Microsoft accounts.
I have the feeling there could be a sheep in that field, Rob.
Yeah. I think you might be right. Look at that. Come on. Come back to me, Daddy. Yeah. I need another sheep joke. So here's the trick when you have too many Microsoft accounts and you have trouble logging in, is you use the incognito mode. So luckily it's picked up my account. So I have a number of flows that just automate stuff and do things. And the one that we want to look at is this one. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we need more dongles. That will solve all our problems.
There we go. So let's click on edit, and you can go and see what happens. And it's really simple. It says, when a new tweet appears, detect sentiments, execute stored procedure. So if we click in our new tweet appears, you can see we have some
It's there. We're good.
connectors. Shall I just try? This is going to be really hard for me, but I'm going to try and keep still. You could choose your connectors. So you want to add a connector, you add a new connector, then you just go and log into your Twitter account. It takes that auth and makes use of it. Excellent. And then we have a search text of psconf.eu. That's the hashtag that we're going to do it. I think you might have to just stand there and hold. Just.
Maybe it's about the adapter.
No. This is clicking through, so that's.
Okay, sorry.
It should just be.
If you want, we can also switch over to my laptop.
No, won't work. Sorry, buddy. Right, well, we'll unplug.
It's because of the connection. I don't know.
Now this is going, hang on.
Maybe we can try another one. So, maybe this one.
So in the meantime, the foundation of Microsoft Flow, what Rob was about to show, is connectors. So Rob had a connector to Twitter. I had a connector to my laptop. There's a whole bunch of connectors available there. And I think Rob is going to continue.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
okay. So the other things we have in there is we can directly interact with OneDrive, with Microsoft Forms. So if you ever need a questionnaire or a feedback form or something like that, you can create a form in Microsoft Forms, create a flow, and every time input is created, you can take an action. So you can write it to CSV, you can send a tweet to yourself, you can post the answers to Microsoft Teams. There's a whole lot of possibilities by combining all the connectors. And I think the power of Microsoft Flow is that it combines all these different products in a simple workflow, and it is available for free. So
what we've got is our sentiment is in Microsoft Cognitive Services API, and that's just going to analyze, we're using the text API, it's going to analyze the sentiment and see how positive people are about the PSConf EU tweets. So again, it's just a connector. We just set up the connector, we add it in, we make use of our tweet text, which is just an object that Flow enables us to get from Twitter. And then we connect to a SQL database in Azure, and we say, right, can you just run the insert tweet store procedure and give me the date, which comes out of Twitter is created at. We've got our tweet text, our location, who tweeted it, and the score. So we just put all of that straight into an Azure SQL DB. And then in Power BI, we just connect that to the SQL database. Go and get me all of the data from that database. And add in filters. So we're on the conference. So just filter this by the date whilst the conference is running. So that's how we're creating that page. It's literally just goes to the Azure SQL database, grabs the details, and puts it into Power BI. So here's a story about Power BI. I love Power BI. My friend who is a big BI analyst was doing a conference on open data, and he was showing off how you can get all of this open government data and you can put it into Power BI and it goes through and you can make all of these things happen. And I'm sat there and he says, and it's so easy to use, even Rob can do it. Challenge accepted. So, let's turn this back into some PowerShell. Let's put some PowerShell back in here. So, I use, when I'm introducing people into how to learn test-driven development with Pester, we go through and we build up a function that analyzes the beard score.
I don't like where this is going, Rob.
No, it's okay. Believe me, this is not about your beard. So we analyze the beard score of a speaker's page on a conference. And as it happens, both Jaap and I went to the same conference. Now, I'm not going to run through all the rest of it. I have it stored in a JSON file, so this is what I would use when I'm mocking my Pester, so I don't need to go out to the internet. I'm not testing if my network's working or if the site is up. I'm only testing the code I'm writing. And this is the story that we're telling as we go through. But if we just were to look at one particular speaker, particularly awesome speaker, I think he's a great guy. So we can see that we've got Jaap Brasser, yeah, and this is what we get back from the Faces Cognitive Services API. So we get facial attributes. He's sort of smiling.
It's going down, Rob.
How old are you, Jaap?
I'm 34.
34. So Cognitive Services got that pretty right. So it says mustache 0.1. Yeah, that's maybe about right. Beard 0.2. Yeah, sorry. Sideburns, no sideburns. But it gives you all sorts of other interesting information that it's analysed about this face. I'd like to point out what's written on here.
Only on the weekends, Rob.
Now, it's not me saying that Jaap's wearing lip makeup. It's Cognitive Services saying that this particular picture of Jaap shows him wearing... Look at you. It does look like you got lip makeup on there. So, we use this to write our unit test for this particular function and make sure everything works as we expect it. Now, what we'd like to do is to be able to get those results out of our Pester and display them to management who are really interested. So it's so simple, even Rob can do it. So I did it. And here is a Power BI template that all of you can make use of that will, in general, use your Pester test results. If you put them into an object, I'll give you some examples. Set a variable, invoke Pester for your script or your checks, whatever it is that you're running, and show a summary with a pass-through. And then all we do is we convert it to a JSON with a depth of 5 and throw it out to a JSON file. Then you go to home, you go to refresh. I'm going to cancel it because I don't know if that data's there. And it will then load you up with a new set of data. That means you can give your management something like this. Ooh, look. Because when you click on things, you watch the buckets. You click on, bucket goes up, bucket goes down. I click on this one. This is cool. Yeah. Wonder how long these tests took to run. Yeah. Do things exist? Yeah, so click on that. Shares and files. The shares and files took 145 milliseconds to run those particular tests. So we could dive in a little bit more detail. Oh, hang on a minute. This has got buckets too. Excellent. So we can click into this. Networks. Let's look at networks. Let's hope the management doesn't click on that one. Yeah, no, 60% fail. This isn't good. But down at the bottom, we say that, look, our DNS server should be responding to ping. So it's giving us valuable information that we, as technicians, can make use of to go and fix things. And we got another one. And again, this is cool. Look, one pie chart. So there's a joke in the BI world. And the joke is that you should not use pie charts. They have a thing about pie charts. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Because in general, I like to use donut charts. Yeah? Because you all know the rules, don't you? You know the trick. So when you need to go to your production DBA and get him to do something for you, if you go with a bag of donuts, it's probably going to happen a lot lot easier. So we always have donut charts. But we can click on this donut chart and, oh, look, we've got all this. We click into here, we see what's happening. That one check took only 0.02 of a second. So we can click around and make this available. Now, this is available for all of you. Go and use it, make use of it. If it works for you, go through.
So how can people get started with this, Rob?
So when you say get started,
Like, if they want to build their first BI.
so it's so easy, even Rob could do it. In fact, it's so easy, even Jaap can do it. So you know how you should always practice your demos? Cool? So Jaap, if you could click at the top right where it says fields, that would be the top right.
Yes.
And if you could open up tests and total test results, then keep a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So this is what Power BI has done when we've said, here is our JSON file. It's created this thing. So Jaap, if you could click on, let's click on describe, because this is a pester test. So we'll start on the describe, which you just rolled past. There we go, that one. There we go. So we've got to describe. It says, do things exist? Excellent. So if you could roll up and also click on the context. Wow, look at this. Isn't he good? He's amazing. If we could roll down and we click on name. There we go, got the name. Oh, look at that. So perhaps we want to know how many tests we've run in each of these contexts. So if you could go down to total tests, right down the bottom. There we go. Yep, you can drag that one across. There we go. So yep, we've got one test for each one of those tests. That kind of makes sense, I guess. Okay, so let's see how many have succeeded. So we could click on our success count. So here's the thing that happens. What Jaap's done is he's clicked out of the widget that he was working on in here, and it's created this, oh, you want a new widget? Okay. So that's going to happen to you when you start playing with it. So we've got our success count. So now we probably want our failure count. So perhaps we go for failed count. And failure message, you want failure message? Okay, so actually it's all just ones. Perhaps we don't need the name. So yeah, could you just go and take the name out on the right, untick that one. There we go, look at that. You're a pro, look at you, you're amazing. Actually, you know what? I don't want the failure message, thank you. We'll deal with that in another way, so we'll take that one away. And that looks a bit boring, doesn't it? Yeah, we don't like that. If you could click on the visualizations, and I'm a production SQL DBA, so to the right, just one to the right of that one. We don't want that one. We don't want pies, we want donuts. Thank you very much. We'll have some donuts. So now we're getting some more results. So it's automatically picked everything up and put it all through, but it's not really making an awful lot of sense. So if we take the describe, if we hit the cross on the describe and in the legend to the right, my buddy, a bit more to the right. Yeah, remove field would work. You could rename it, but remove field. There we go. Now we've got something that makes a little bit of sense. And actually, our value shouldn't be the total. Really, should we have values as succeeded or failed? Succeeded, okay. So if you could drag the success count into the values, my buddy. Yep, when you see the yellow, you can drop it. You might have to get rid of the total test ones first. So drag it into there. I heard somebody gasp when it all went away. It's all gone. No, it's okay. And now you've suddenly created a donut chart that if you hover over it, it's now showing you the success count of your shares and files, of the networks. You know what? It's all very well and good, but we should listen to the BI people because they say that we shouldn't use donut and pie charts because they're not the right way to display data for visualization. Perhaps we could have, no, we want a field map. We want a tree map, please, my friend.
Which one is that?
Yeah. That's half the fun, is to let you see and to work out. And,
I mean, if you also don't know,
and it's
okay.
As I was about to say, the other part of that is I can't recognize it from here. This is what happens. What you can do is just click around and do different visualizations until you find the one that you think, oh yeah, that works. Definitely not that one. That'll run through everything. So we definitely don't want that one. So yeah, fine. Oh, no, that looks pretty good. How about that? That's giving us the information that we need. So this is how simple it is for you to be able to automate some analysis of Twitter, connect it to the sentiment on Microsoft Cognitive Services, put it into an Azure SQL DB, create a Power BI report, and then you need to do a little bit more magic. Because once you've finished creating your report, thank you very much, my beautiful assistant needs to just come forward. Because we did not practice that at all. In fact, you might have seen from the look on his face, he wasn't expecting that. Because I only just thought about it when I was stood over there. Once you've created
Makeup went up.
Once you've created your report and you're ready to send it to the masses and let everybody be able to see it, be careful. Because obviously sometimes this is going to have data that you might not want to pass to everybody. You might not be allowed to publish up into Azure. So you need to go and check those things out. You can leave it like this. You can make it available to anybody that wants to look at it. This is just sat basically inside this one client app. It's just inside Power BI Desktop. But we've got that permission. We're enabled to push it up into Azure. Then you just click on Publish. Do you want to save your changes? Yeah, we'll save Jaap's lovely report. And then you got to sign in. So let's sign in with the right account. Oops. But as you can see, I do have a Power BI account. Ta-da! So we would have, let's find our reports. It's going to be, I'm going to say it's that one. Because you can see this is the same Power BI. This is just a template that we've created. So now we have it available in our Power BI. Now we can share this report however we want with members within our own Azure Active Directory and anybody else that we allow to get access to it. But you guys have all been using PowerShell.cool. And the way that you can do that is do this publish to web. So you click on publish to web and it goes, oh, right, are you sure? Are you really sure? You really sure you want to be able to publish this to web? Which I think is pretty cool. So again, you need to have that conversation. Am I allowed to let this data go to be available to anybody? And you say, yes, please. Yep, I'm happy. And you click the publish button. And then basically you just end up with a URL. And you create something cool. And anybody who gets this URL can click on it, can get at the data, can do everything. And then a really cool man who organized this whole conference looks at that and goes, that's cool. I have 5 million PowerShell.something domain names that I've got for doing this conference. How about PowerShell.cool? And that, my friends, is how I made it, how you can make it, and also how you can create anything, particularly from your pester test results in Power BI. You don't need to be a data person. You just need to have somebody that has a little bit of understanding of the data you're working with. So you're working with Active Directory, you're working with hardware, whatever it is that you're making use of, you understand what kind of data you're going to be getting. You can pull those results, if they're pester results, into a JSON file. And then just like Jaap, you can go and click on things and move them around and work out what's going on. And the data platform community is just as helpful and friendly as the PowerShell community is. So when you get stuck, you go, no, hang on a minute, I can't do this. Push it out into SQL Help. Somebody will be able to come and help you on Twitter, I promise.
Or contact Rob directly.
You can contact me directly, which is absolutely fine, and I will always be glad to help. You'll get a quicker response if you use the hashtag SQL Help on Twitter, I promise. So, what we'd like to know now is if you have any questions. Anybody? Any questions? Anybody? Yes, madam.
Can you tell us more about the desktop client for Flow? Like the one that you install that watches the file system or whatever?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The question was, please could you show us more about the desktop client for Flow and how it enables you to sheep me up?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of steps I skipped to make some time for Rob's demo. There we go.
Look at
beautiful. Of course, the mouse doesn't work. So one of the things we did is there's a nice document on Microsoft Flow. You install an on-premises data gateway. You just download the executable, you log on with your Office 365 account, and from that moment you have the data gateway installed on your system. It's running in the background. And then from Microsoft Flow, let's see, we have the flow called Sheep Me. That was the button I had on my phone as well. And if we go into Edit Flow, the only thing I did here is I used a connection. So just as Rob was using a connection to SQL Server, I'm using a connection to my file system. And we can even take a look at what we have here in the connections. We can leave. Here we go. And we can see which flows are using this connection before we edit it. And if you go in here, you just specify, okay, it's going to be on the C drive. We're going to use Windows authentication. And here, you put your computer name, your username, password, and you're good to go. That's all that's required. And then the part I did on...
so what's the bit about choose a gateway?
What's that?
The choose a gateway.
Ah, the gateway?
Yeah.
This is, so this is the gateway you have to install. So this is MeBook, because that's my laptop. So you can have multiple gateways, multiple systems. They say, what requirements?
Port. Please repeat the question.
Port requirement?
So what port requirements do we need to be able to install the gateway? Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what the port requirements are for this. I'll have to look it up.
You need an outbound connection because that on-premises data gateway works in the way that it's sitting on your on-premises environment and just looking to the cloud. There is no incoming connection. You don't have to open an inbound connection.
Cool. Thank you. So the answer we got from the audience was you don't have to have any inbound ports. All the gateway is doing is looking at Flow to see if there's any data to be retrieved. Cool. And the last step in executing this script is that I use the Hacky script. I'm just looking if there's any file created in the folder called sheep. It's running in the background, so it's not the most elegant solution, but it was just to demo that you can even use Flow to execute PowerShell code, because PowerShell is awesome.
So can you go back into Flow, my buddy?
Yes.
If you could just edit one of those flows.
Yes.
You could edit.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So what you've got, you could see that we've got, when something happens, do this. If you clicked on the arrow, you can start adding different inputs. You can add conditions. You can do all sorts of coding. Yeah. You can do all sorts of automation depending on what requirements you have to be able to access stuff. So we can access all sorts of information here. We have the ability to do all sorts of functionings. So it really enables you to do quite complex things. So you'll notice the PSConfEU Twitter account retweets a lot of tweets that have the PSConfEU hashtag. But we've got some logic in there to not retweet something that PSConfEU has retweeted, because there was a couple of hours where it got itself in a great big loop. and then we've got some other little bits of logic in. So if it does this, then that. If the tweet contains that, go and do this. Put it higher up the queue, things like that. So it really is very, very granular. You can go through and do as much as you want to. There was another question there, my friend.
Yeah, please don't be angry. But
No, not at all.
no, I know. But can you use Power BI without SQL?
Can you use Power BI without SQL? Could you go to powerbi.com? And what I would like to see... No, you can't sign in. So I wanted to be able to push it up on the screen there. You can make use of connections to many data sources. So powershell.cool is using a JSON file. Yeah? The PES to test results are also using a JSON file. But you can connect to SQL on premises, you can connect to Azure SQL, you can connect to Oracle, you can connect to CSV, you can connect to all sorts of things. The list is this long. And you can connect to an API, you can scrape from a web page. So we're not just reliant on relational data sources. You can really make use of it in a big way.
You could just, within the Power BI, scrape certain tweets with the API without any SQL.
Can I? Yep.
Anything else?
We still need the final slide. Yep. So the question was, in Power BI, would we be able to scrape the web page directly from the API? So if we look at here, if we want to get our data, there's the strings that come up through. Excel, Power BI service, SQL Server, analysis services, CSV, as you'd expect. Then you've got web, you've got a no data feed, you've got a blank query. If we click on more, you can see there's all sorts of things that you can do. But Facebook, yeah, because they have all of your data. Apparently, so I've heard, all of your data, even if you've never been on Facebook, apparently. But you can make use of all sorts of data sources, whatever it is. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
You showed that you can publish, which basically puts it online available for everyone.
Yes.
Can you also publish it for, internally for your tenant only?
So internally, there's multiple different things we can do here. But so what I have done is I have published it up into the cloud sorry? I'll repeat the question. Thank you so very much. So the question was, when I published it, I showed publishing it out to the web and making a web page available for anybody to see data. Can I just make it available internally? Yes. You can install Power BI Report Server, which is with SQL Server 2017, and then you can publish that, and that will be completely and utterly internally on your premises, never leaving your estate. You can publish it to powerbi.com, so it's in Azure, but it's only accessible by yourself via your Azure credentials. And then you can choose to share it with other people, other groups within the Active Directory, whatever. And then you can choose whether they can share it again or not. So there's many options.
So the caveat to it being with SQL Server, my understanding is that it's extremely expensive because you have to have both S8 and Enterprise Edition.
So-
It's not ideal for smaller setups.
As with all products that are made by companies, when you use them in certain ways, there are costs applied. You need to go and work out what those costs are. Say that again, my friend, sorry. Absolutely correct. So the Power BI, if you are using the Power BI report server, then you're not going to be able to make use of all of those data sources to be able to do things. Yes, my friend.
Can you publish it to team?
Can you publish it to team? I honestly don't know.
Yes.
I would imagine so, but yeah. So the answer to the question is yes. Teams is really easy to publish things to. You go on your Teams channel, you click on the little ellipse as the hamburger menu, you find the connectors, you webhook, yes please, copy that, and then there's your thing. We wrote a function to put the DBA checks results into Teams in about 20 minutes. Set it up and made use of it. It's really easy to do.
So that's what, from Flow rather than using Power BI?
So that would be from.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, where do we do that from? My friend who answered the question, is that done from within the Power BI report service to push it into Teams? Or do you do that within Flow?
Underlying of the team, there's an Office 365.
Of course, that makes perfect sense. So the answer to the question is, within your MS Teams, there's an O365 connector, which is what you would use to go, please get me that report and push it through. Go and investigate, have a look, write a blog post and share it with everybody, and then we all will learn. Are there any more questions? If there are, you may catch us at any other point, but otherwise we... Thanks very much, buddy. Well done.